The idea today is to talk about how our current situation with online classes and all forced educations going online can help the educators to finally do a better education, a better learning process in special. Just to let you know, I'm a researcher in educations, especially the part of the use of technology. I'm a lecturer here in Brazil too. The very first point is education has changed hardly until now. We are using the same classrooms architecture, the same lectures structure, the same power control teacher, but we have a huge opportunity to change education, to improve learning process. But actually, it's not new. And it's important to understand that technology has an important role in everything, but the most important in education is the methodology, is the intention of use of each methodology, each part of the teaching process. For example, distance learning is not something new from the internet, from the online environment. Actually, the first mention of distance learning we have in society comes from 2000 years ago. 2000 years ago, St. Paul was sending letters to some Christian communities like Corinthians, and it was actually a distance learning process. He was teaching the Christian communities how to make sermons, how to grow in number of participants and everything. So distance learning is not new. We need to understand how the process works. We need to understand how to use it to really use the technology the right way. It's a huge and powerful methodology that we can learn from. But how learning technologies can really change education? What we can do at our own classrooms right now? So we have some trends in education post-pandemic that I will detail in the next slides. But just to let you know, we are talking about active learning techniques that is really important to put the students at the center of the process. Flipped classroom that really use better the asynchronous materials, adaptive learning tools that can provide each student the best path for him individually, live and on-demand contents, and hybrid teaching classes, online plus in person, combining that. Students gotta have an active role on the process. And even in countries like Brazil, we can use. It's only a matter of adapting. It's only a matter of, at the beginning of the course, you explain the students the objectives, the targets of this methodology and how and why it's so important they are involved, okay? It's really important. Other important methodology is the flipped classroom, and it works even better in technological environments. Look here at my presentation right now, and we can see that in traditional classroom models, we have the students supposed to look over the material before the class, but in practice here in Brazil, as I was saying, they don't. And then they come to the class and the professor presents a lecture, the professors give them the knowledge. I don't like to say that because it's completely not right, not like this in practice, but it was the expectation. The professor will give the knowledge and then they go home to try the new knowledge in homeworks. But if they have doubts, there is no way to clear that. So the flipped classroom, the idea is to flipping this model. You will change the contents for out of class. So in home, before the classes, the students have to learn the theory by themselves using recorded videos by professors. The students will learn in prior only if they have the links to the videos, if they have the link to articles, if they have the material they can prepared to the class. And they know when they are at classrooms, it will be no lectures. It will be group discussions, doubts clarifying. So it changes completely the dynamic of the classroom. The professor are not giving knowledge anymore. The professor are there to help students learning, to talk about it, to discuss, to provoke questions, and everybody is learning together. This is the most important and powerful part of the flipped classroom. And of course, it's a much better use of our time in class, because with lecture, we are wasting time giving content they could study by themselves. So in flipped model, we have a better use for each one difficult, for each student's needs. So we can focus only on that. They come to class and say, "Oh, professor, I've studied the content, but I didn't understood this part." Okay, let's talk about it. Let's explain a little bit about this part, but no the whole thing. And then, of course, back on home, they will check the understanding, they will work in groups with other students' assignments, then can rewatch the videos he studied before. So videos should be between 2 and 8 minutes. Articles shouldn't be longer than 5 to 7 minutes reading. It's only short periods to prepare for the classes. Okay? And to finish this part, we have some do's and don'ts on online teaching. The first do, we gotta focus on preparation, both from students and the teacher. We gotta be prepared for the online classes because it's a different dynamic. It has to have different approach. We gotta keep classes varied, because the online it's more difficult to keep focus on what the teacher are saying. So we gotta use videos, we gotta use polls, we gotta discuss with students during the class, and everything we can. And we gotta allow time for to the students making connections. In class it's easier, but online we gotta set some times to discuss, to try the understanding, to test everything, because as we are not seeing all the students, it's more difficult, but we gotta force it online. And some things that we should to avoid. We could not assign too much reading, as I said already. We cannot be obsessed with technology. As I said, to technology is really good and allow many things, but the most important is the education. The most important is the learning process. The technology is only the channel. It's important. And don't try to cover too much. Don't have the expectation that you will cover the same subject online that you were used to cover in person. It's almost impossible. Online has another timing, another dynamic, but we can complement that with all the other materials, with all the other studying times at home. Okay. And to close my speech today with you, I had some final tips. First of all, understand that at home learning is completely different. Our students have more distractions right now, have children screaming, dogs barking, and everything So we gotta consider that and make the classes more interactive, more engaging, more interesting for them. And the last thing, everything I told you today can be used both online and in-person courses. It's important that after the pandemic, we do not discard everything we are creating now. We use in class every methodology, every active learning process, every preparation material, everything again, because I believe so much that future is hybrid learning. It will be the combination of good in-person classrooms and bigger time of online studying. So we will use it forever. Okay. And now, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to talk about it, to discuss a little bit.